Happy Sunday to everyone. I just wanted to give a quick tip and to make this quick live video. If you get a chance, it should be posted up. If people are not able to view it instantly, I hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to just give a tip because I had a friend of mine call me. She began to look for some credit because she's trying to get a new vehicle. And just to give you guys some heads up to understand how some things work, when you're starting to look for credit, you need to be aware of like a tactic. This is a sneaky, it's kind of an underhanded tactic that collection companies use. And it's unfortunate because they know when people are looking for credit, they're starting to trying to change something in their life. Even when you pull, for searching for housing, looking to get a car, like, or especially if you're trying to buy a house, they have what's called a trigger list. Okay, so what that does for them, you'll look out the blue. She had a old bill, like it was a T-Mobile account bill, and she said she paid it prior to, but once they see that you're searching for credit, they know you're in between a rock and a hard place, so they will cause this collection to try to start to report really quickly on your credit report. And you're like, where did this come from? Especially if you're not monitoring your credit, you can be unaware that this really popped up on your credit report, and now it can hinder you for reaching not just a goal, something that you really need in order to live, getting transportation to get you back and forth to work, to actually take care of your family. And let me just plug this in. If you guys didn't know, I'm doing a credit kickoff for the rest of this month. If you are interested, you can join the Facebook group I have established. I usually leave links, so if you want to join the group, feel free. And we're looking at ways to increase your credit score within 30 days or less. And I'm also dropping a book in reference to that, and I have other book titles, and the name of the group is A Quick Guide on How to Boost Your Credit. So if you're interested, feel free. Everyone that I did send out, you should have received those inquiry letters. If you join the group, there are some questions, and if you wanted that letter, you will have to put in your email address. So I just want to get you guys to let y'all know that going forward, because I'm working to try to make sure everything is organized, and if I don't get it in that way, we could miss you. So that's the vehicle. If you are interested, join that group, because I try to put content that I make there for you guys. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys if you're interested to get rid of some inquiries. But when it comes down to collections, I want you guys to understand, when you're searching for credit, they will pop up. Now, this is the dangerous part, and I'm glad that she called me, because say that bill is beyond, let's say, 8 years old, because they'll come up with some real old stuff and then re-age it. They'll give it a different age. So what you have to pay attention is the date of last activity. So say you had an account back, a credit card account, let's say, that lasted for over 20 years, right? And you stopped paying on that account, let's say in 2010, and they come up and re-age this account on you, and it just pop up out the blue. Now, what that can cause you, and they know you're desperate. So if you just say, look, I'm just in a tight, I'm just going to pay these people, and you pay that debt, that's going to cause your credit score to decrease, because what now it's going to look like is a current paid charged, a current paid collection account. So let's say even if that account, when it was reporting, say sometimes people get discouraged and say it's been on their credit for years, like 5 years. And if you don't know, those accounts should fall off in 7.5 years from the date of last activity. That means last payment, okay? So if you say, I'm tired of paying this debt, right? Or not paying the debt, I'm just tired of seeing this collection, I'm going to go ahead and pay it. If it's over 36 months old, it really is not having a major effect on your credit report. So if you go ahead and just pay that debt thinking it's going to be removed off your credit, it's not. What it's going to do is now bump up the time frame. So now you're going to put yourself in a hole where you were only at 5 years for 5 years in and only had like 2.5 years left to get it off your credit. Now you reinstated for you to wait another 7.5 years that collection company can report that. And a lot of times the original creditor, the reason why they have it, they charged off the debt, they can no longer collect on it. The collection agency in itself don't really have legal right to collect from you. You never receive goods or service from them. And especially when it comes down to credit card accounts, nobody ever signs that contract that comes along. Or very rarely does people ever sign that contract that goes along with that card and send it back. You got to remember, I don't care if it's a car, I don't care if it's a mortgage, I don't care what it is. When you bind that initial contract with whatever company or party you're working with, whether it's a financing company for a car, whether it's a mortgage company for a house, whoever, you're giving your permission. You would have to sign in that paperwork, reading the language, and sign. That's when you sign that, it had to say somewhere in there that you agree for that debt to be sold or transferred to another party. If that contract did not say that, did not get your consent to sell, that other company do not have a right to collect on a debt. And I say it time and time again, because the debt is old, does not give any old Tom, Dick, and Harry legal right to collect on a debt. So this is how these collection companies fool you. When you begin to bind the contract, and that's either verbally over the phone, that's why they record you, or you foolishly make a payment, now they can say you have a contractual obligation to them. And if you're not careful, there's a lot of these debts that in your state is past the statutory of limitations for them to even collect. If you mess around, because I had someone who contacted me, they found my video, but over the phone, they, told the company they was going to pay them. If you mess around and do that, then now you want to back out of it. They got you on recording, so you got to be careful on what you're saying. Now, they wanted to pursue them in their own state, sold the debt to, because some of these attorneys are by the debt, acting like they representing that company. And now you, since you bound that statute of limitations that they couldn't sue you is out the door. And now they can pursue you in a legal lawsuit and really actually kind of have a standing. So if you're not careful, that can turn to a judgment. Not only do you got a collection, if you let it sit around, it's going to be a judgment. And certain judgments can report on your credit report for at least another 7 years as a public record on your credit report. Different bankruptcies, depending on which one you file, they can report up to 10 years. So now you're going to have a negative public record if they get that judgment on you. So you're going to have a judgment and an unpaid collection. So that's going to doubly mess you up. So you want to make sure from the door, do not just run out and pay these companies without doing your research. Don't do that. Just make sure you be informed. If you're going to, I don't really suggest paying them. I really don't, unless you read my book on collection, a quick guide on how to boost your credit and stop collections. I explain on a way how if you pay that debt, I have done it plenty times before, especially if you get a situation. A lot of you guys will contact me and they'll say, well, I got a collection, and I'll say, who's reporting that collection on your credit report? Because sometimes the direct collection company is reporting that, but sometimes they'll report it in the original creditor's name, and they'll call you. You'll call the original creditor and they'll say, nah, you got to deal with the collection agency. So if that's what you got going on, which make it a little harder to deal with, then I have a strategy where you're actually going to pay that debt, but you're going to pay it in the original creditor's name, but you'll send the check to the collection agency. And I go in depth in the book on why you do that. And it's going to be called you're going to do a satisfactory and accordance agreements, a S&A. And you pair that with a restrictive check endorsement. And that's where you put the terms of your conditions under the signature line. Okay, that's what you're going to do. That if they're agreeing to do that, if I pay this debt and you're agreeing to that, I always say not that is for deletion. A lot of people say pay for deletion. I don't pay for deletion. I pay for you, and within 30 days to report on my credit report as paid as agreed. So now you have positive history on your credit report, because a lot of you guys have already a real thin credit report. A lot of people think, oh, well, I don't have a lot of credit cards, I don't have none. Well, I can guarantee you, if you don't have a credit card, your credit score is low, because that's what the whole system is based on, revolving credit. What's optimum for you to have is at least 5 reporting revolving unsecured credit card accounts. So if you don't have that, your credit score is thin, and your score can be low just because of that. So just keep that in mind. That way, when you make them pay, you pay them, but what you're going to do is trap them up to a legal standing. And this could be used for people who already agreed or in a payment. You could try to do this as a back doorway. If you already structured a payment to these companies and you like, man, I should have never paid them, you can use that technique to flip it around. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to have to be prepared to take them and sue them in your local courts, okay? Because a lot of people will tell you, yeah, those laws, when you're disputing, it is federal laws. Though you have to go to federal court. When they're talking about the Fair Credit Reporting Act, that's federal, okay? So you got to keep that in mind, you guys. That's federal laws. But you cannot really take somebody to court locally on federal laws. Those are two different courts. So a lot of times you can bang them out on defamation of character. You can, in your state, if it's on the books, get them for fraud, if your state will allow that locally. But usually defamation of character is always on the books. And that means because, you put in negative things about my character, I suffered a financial loss, okay? A financial loss because what you was reporting against me. It stopped me from getting housing, or a car loan, or getting a job. So I tell y'all, it's very important, keep those letters where you've been rejected for credit, and to go deeper to find out from that company exactly why you were rejected. That's part of your evidence. And don't get too greedy, because you want to make it not worth their while to fight you. So like I tell you in my book, always get a name of an employee. So I hope this information is helpful. Just watch how you pay them. Do your research if you have a collections coming in, you guys. And make sure you just watch out, because you could make your situation go from bad to worse. Don't let a temporary solution become a permanent problem. Okay, that's one of my themes. Let a temporary solution become a permanent problem. All right, you guys, I hope this information was helpful. And if you're looking for my prior content, I have a YouTube channel, Sherry Beckley, that's SHERRY, Beckley, BECKLEY, where I post prior content that I have made. So if you're interested, go there, like and subscribe to the channel. All right, God bless you guys. Bye-bye.